Content creators, videographers, and photographers. You don't need your equipment anymore, so you can throw it all away. We're also going to be talking about the best way of getting into the photography industry. And are you about to be part of a massive police lineup? Stay tuned.
Mark, I've got to do this at the beginning of the episode. So guys, hello guys, just to say that if you enjoy the show, please make sure to support us by subscribing to our YouTube and Patreon channels. Please also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, and all of these will be linked in the show notes. Please also leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast apps, such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That's really important. And with that, Mark, how are you?
I'm okay, Cam. I'm okay. I mean, I've got a shoot tomorrow. I think you've been shooting this week, but we don't need our cameras anymore. What's up with that?
What's all that about? Photographers, videographers, content creators, call it whatever you want. Okay, we don't need them anymore, Mark.
Do we not?
Grab your cameras, grab your lenses, throw them all in the bin, chuck them away, or sell them.
Might try and sell them.
No, I don't think you do need to sell them because nobody else, they're not relevant anymore.
No one's going to buy them.
No one's going to want them. Don't go anywhere to do part exchange. Don't go to your favorite camera store. Say, look, I want to part exchange all my equipment. Because they're going to say, I'm sorry, we don't want it. It's valueless. Okay, it's got nothing.
Brilliant.
There is no money in it.
I spent thousands on this stuff.
Yeah, well, that's tough, right? There is nothing that there's nothing you can do about it.
Why? What's up with this? Go on, Cam, spill the beans.
You spent the money.
I spent the money. I'll just cry into my pint.
Okay, this is why you don't need it anymore, because I'm going to tell you a far easier way where you can take photos hands-free.
Hands-free
as well. Okay, you don't need. We're
getting to sound like some rubbish advert. I'm sorry.
You don't need a backpack. Okay, you don't need that backpack anymore, full of your lenses and your lens cloths, right? And your SD cards and your XQD cards, all of that nonsense. Okay,
what's replacing it? What's replacing it?
Glasses.
Glasses. I have those.
You put on a pair of really cool shades. Okay, a real nice pair of specs.
Okay. Who makes these glasses?
And everything is built in. Ray-Ban.
I've got. I wear Ray-Ban glasses. How's this?
There you go. Okay, so Ray-Ban have introduced a new Meta Smart glasses. Now, let's be honest, right? Everyone likes a pair of Ray-Bans, okay? Because there's different styles. Everyone likes Ray-Ban, don't they? Ray-Ban is iconic. But they have released these new glasses as of September 2023. And this means that you can throw all your camera equipment away.
Does it really, though? I mean, are we just taking the mickey a little bit? I mean, is really these Meta glasses, the camera on these Meta glasses, gonna surpass my R6?
But in addition to that, Mark, though, but you can listen to music at the same time. You can take calls. You imagine how efficient you are. You're on a shoot. Your hands free. You're talking to somebody, and you're taking pictures at the same time. You're not picking up your camera. You're not changing your lens. You're not framing. Literally all you do is you turn your head. You think, "There's my view." In fact, I want to go a little bit closer. You're walking a little bit closer. Click, take your picture, take your video. You're just moving around. You're walking. You got your glasses. You're wearing these super cool looking sunglasses.
What about nighttime? Sorry, I'm just going to throw that one out there.
I've not had these glasses yet, right? So
we're all going to be wearing sunglasses at midnight. We're all taking Meta videos and stuff.
And how much do you think they start at these?
Oh, well, it's the first edition, isn't it? So you're probably looking about £500-600, something like that at the least.
$300.
Oh, okay. I overextended myself with the price.
And I think that's really good value for money. And also, what's going to happen is they're going to incorporate AI into it as well.
Of course.
So I think all of that is just going to make everything. It's going to change things. You can capture photos and videos with these glasses. You can live stream with these glasses. And you can ask Meta AI. You can just ask a question. These are the next generation of smart glasses. That's what they're all about.
Can it give you information about? I thought I read, if you're looking at like, I don't know, the Statue of Liberty or something like that. So in New York, you look at the Statue of Liberty, you can ask the glasses some questions and it comes up on the lenses, doesn't it? Or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
With
I mean,
answers.
yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, it comes up with a range of AI options. I mean, we know that AI it is the way that it's actually going. We know that is what's happening, and we have to embrace that. We have to embrace that as photographers, and we need to be learning that as photographers because if you don't, we're going to get left behind a little bit. If we don't do that, and the whole idea of these is that it says yes, you can take photos, videos, listen to music, make calls, live stream direct to Facebook and Instagram, all without taking your phone or your camera out of your pocket. Yes, the convenience of that is great, but is this where it's going? Let's be realistic here.
Okay, well, first off, I mean, obviously we've been a little bit cheeky with the way we've introduced this story. It's not going to replace my R6 anytime soon. I think the R6 Mark III is going to replace my R6 before these Ray-Bans will, and obviously the Mark III is not even out yet. Or even being made, I don't think. But I do have one massive issue with it.
Okay, right. Let's hear it.
Okay,
I mean, I'm looking at these glasses now, and I don't have an issue with them at all because they look incredible.
Yeah, they do. But what's the main difference between you and me, Cam?
You wear glasses already?
I wear glasses. That's absolutely right. So I can't wear these sunglasses. Because I have to have prescription sunglasses. Now, I'd imagine you said $300. I'm sure you can get prescription versions of it, but then every time your prescription changes, you got to then buy another £300 pair of sunglasses, $300 sunglasses. So, I mean, obviously I could wear contacts, but I don't. So actually, it's not going to affect me one bit because I probably won't buy these unless they come down radically in price and they become a staple within the glasses, proper glasses wearing community.
Yeah, but isn't that the case with everything? When something new comes out, there's going to be the early versions of all of those. So yes, they will change. I mean, I think that's going to be such a given that because so many people do wear glasses now anyway. So they are going to have to introduce them with prescription lenses, and I'm sure they already do because
with a real big price, though, I can imagine.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's Ray-Ban. But the thing is people will. I mean, look at come on, right?
I wear
Mark, you say that. I know. The new iPhone 15 has just come out or something. I was with somebody last week who's just bought a new one. Amazing camera. And so people will buy it. People will buy stuff. Price is of no significance at all for a lot of people. They will just go out and buy it. Some people are just gadget freaks. Some people that's what
I understand that with the gadgets.
Spend their money on.
I understand that with the gadgets, and I've always had an iPhone. You can buy a Samsung version that is less expensive, but I go for Apple because I like the way Apple products are and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, you pay for it, but I think it's worth the money. However, when it comes to something like glasses, which is not, it's not a nice thing to have. It's a necessity. It's not an optional extra. And if this then becomes something that you have to have, like, if you have to have it as part of everyday life, like smartphones, you have to have a phone these days, which is crazy. I know there's some people who kind of rally against it, but generally, especially if you're in business for yourself, you got to have a smartphone. And at some point, I will have to buy these smart glasses, but it will probably put a premium up on my glasses wearers. Little issue with that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, look, that's all to come. We're very early stages with all of this, and sort of by doing some reviews on this. I mean, they've gone down pretty well actually in the whole idea. I mean, I think they're going to be such a they're available. They're not just available in one frame. They're available in different styles as well. That's cool. what it's going to be as well. So I think the prescription lenses are a given. I think that's going to be going to happen. The fact that it's got, not only does it record video but records photos, but it's got a range of microphones as well. It's got 5 mics in it, so not only that, you're going to be picking up really good audio as well. Okay, not as good as miking somebody up, let's not beat about the bush there, okay? But it's got mics built in and they're scattered across the front and the sides of the glasses, and so they record 360-degree audio.
What's your thought about everyone now having a camera on their face. What's your thought on that? I mean,
yeah,
it's a bit weird now that, you know, especially when you're, you know, what I know a lot of sort of music performers have issues with, you know, people raising up their hand with their mobile phone in their hands just recording the gig. Now everyone's just going to be doing it, and you don't know people are doing it. You know, walking around Tesco, someone's going to record you. Walking down the street, someone's going to record you. I know there's this little light on the end, but you know, it's if you're halfway down the street, you're not going to see that. What was your thought on that?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. That's a difficult one. You know, you're going to go up to somebody and say, "Excuse me, you taking photos with your glasses?" Or, you know, "Why are you looking at me up and down like that? Why are you looking at me like that? You know, are you filming me?" So, you know, that's put me on the spot. That really, I don't know. I mean, that's going to be. I mean, is it what is the deal with filming people in public? There is no law against it, is there?
No, there isn't. But you know, I'm obviously thinking about, you know, what some creepy people might do.
Yeah.
You know, just looking down certain areas and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot more obvious with a phone if you're doing that, and you know, you can back the phone away.
Yeah.
So yeah, that stuff is, you know, it's worth considering. It is a worry. I think generally it's a cool device. Of course it is. I do like my tech, and I do think the idea of having these sort of facts coming up on your glasses whilst you're looking at something like the StatLib or something like that would be really, really cool.
Well, do you know where I think it's going to be useful is for someone like me, and I know where the opposite's here, but I don't like taking my camera on holiday. I never take my camera on holiday.
Yeah.
I take pictures with my phone on holiday, but I don't even like doing that. Mark, I just want to just forget about taking pictures, and that's not good in the sense of not recording those memories. I get that. I do take pictures, don't get me wrong, but I think the sunglasses here would be just, you know, would be fantastic. And you know what? At that price, I think I'm going to buy a pair.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to buy a pair.
Interested to see what they.
I'm going to buy a pair. You know what? If they're £1,000 or something, I thought they would have been a lot more expensive. I thought they would have been about £1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and do you know what? I'm going to put it in as a possibly as a Christmas birthday.
You're going to ask Father Christmas.
I've got a birthday. I've got that's right. Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I might do that. I might get. I'm thinking at that price, I'm going to get them.
I'd be interested to know. I mean, the only other thing that does worry me, and going back to the glasses wearers thing, is, and I know I've been a bit flippant about it earlier, but you know, there are certain things that I can't do. Because I wear glasses. So 3D glasses, for example, are a pain. If I go to a cinema, I've got to wear 2 sets of glasses, basically, and it doesn't work. Eye diopters on cameras do not work for me. So I have to wear glasses when I'm taking pictures. Mainly because I have astigmatism in my eye. It's not, you know, basic short-sightedness or whatever. So it's possible. And I know there are some sunglasses I cannot buy because of my prescription, because they can't make the lenses in that. So I do think, you know, and that might be the case with these. Now, it might be that they have different styles and all that kind of stuff, and that might mean that you can do it. But I really hope, you know, if you're reading things in the lenses, I really hope that is available for people like myself who do have a sight deficiency. And yeah, because it would be really useful to have. The fact that everyone can record stuff, and the Pandora's box that'll open when you don't have to hold something to record things is a worry for me as well. But generally, it is a cool gadget. I can't, you know, I can't get away from it. It does look pretty cool.
Yeah, and
I would like, when you get them, I want to have a go.
Yeah, do you know, I'm just going to get them, you know, and unless there's anyone listening here from Ray-Ban, just send us a couple of pairs over.
Oh, yeah. But if you do get in touch, I'll send across my prescription.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah, there is that as well. Okay, good stuff. A bit of fun, but you know, but it also at the same time, it's technology, and it's technology moving forward. So you know, there is a serious side to it as well, because you know, these are things that we should be embracing. I really do. I really do believe that we should be embracing all this new technology as photographers. We shouldn't be shying away from it. We shouldn't say, "Nah, it's a fad. Who's going to want that? Who's going to want?" We have to. Well,
there have been fads though.
Yeah, exactly.
3D TVs in the house haven't really kicked off, have they?
No, exactly. But I think something like this, you can see it as being, you know, it's feasible, in my opinion, to be used as a tool. And I think if you want to be a success in photography, I think you've got to always have an open mind about these things. And it links quite well into what we want to talk about next, Mark. That does. But let's grab a drink first.
Let's go and get a drink first. Alrighty.
What would you say is the best way to learn photography? What's the best way to get into the industry? It's a really common question, isn't it?
It is a common question. It's a difficult one. And I think we've actually done it through different ways, haven't we? I went more the academic way, and I think you went more apprenticeship, kind of learning on the job. Yeah. And it's interesting because there's a few things I want to discuss about this, because, you know, it has worked out that, you know, one of the lowest paid salaries within 5 years of having a photographer's degree. It's the lowest salary of all the degrees, apparently.
Yeah. So this was a recent news story here in the UK, where it was, they basically were saying about degrees that aren't worth the paper they're written on, and the subject that offers you the lowest wage, or people that are on the lowest wage 5 years after studying it, turned out to be photography. Yeah,
and you know, it's also been described as a Mickey Mouse degree. I don't like that term. But I understand where it comes from. The reason I don't like that term is actually, you know, I did a degree in photography and I worked bloody hard for it. Do you know what I mean? If you say Mickey Mouse, it kind of means it was easy and you breezed through it. No, I worked hard, you know. I did work hard to get that degree, and I was very proud of it at the end of it. So I don't like the phrase Mickey Mouse. However, if career-wise, and I'm not talking about all the social stuff, because actually university, learning social skills, and you know, you're kind of away from home with a safety net, you know, that kind of thing. It's a good sort of jump into life for a lot of people, and I met some of the best people, and I still contact them today because of uni. So that bit aside, career-wise though, I agree. I think it's probably best doing it the way you did it, Cam, because although I enjoyed my degree and I worked hard my degree and I'm proud of the degree, did it get me my job? Would I have, because my first proper photographer's job was with Venture. I think I would have gotten that job without a degree, quite frankly. I don't think I needed a degree to get that job. Yes, my portfolio was better, but my portfolio, I mean, I was doing architectural photography in my end of degree course, which is nothing to do with family photography, which is what I now do. So in that respect, I would have gotten the job anyway, I think. With the 5 year thing, I mean, about your salary and whatever, I'm guessing there's a lot of things that have changed since I did it, just to sort of clarify. I mean, my year was one of the first years that actually had to pay for the university fees. I'm pretty sure I was like the first year, definitely the first year to get the loans rather than the grants. And it was $3,000 a year. Now I think it's about $9,000 a year, isn't it? So for university fees. So obviously it's more cost effective when I was doing it than it is now. And within 5 years, I was earning 20K at Venture. I was the head photographer at the studio after I got the job.
Now, let's not dismiss degrees altogether, because I think you were sort of saying that, or you said that when you got your job at Venture, that you probably wouldn't have needed a degree. And I don't necessarily. Let's not talk about Venture necessarily here, but I don't necessarily think that would be the case, Mark, because there's a lot of employers who want to take somebody on, but they would prefer to have somebody who studied at degree level, regardless of which subject it is, because achieving a degree means that you've stuck at it, you achieved a certain amount of knowledge, and that you're able, and that you are an achiever, whatever you've achieved. Okay, it doesn't matter. You could have done a degree in physics or something, right? Or you could have done a degree in, I don't know, horticulture or something. Okay, has nothing to do with photography. But the thing is what they're saying is, okay, this person's proved himself or herself.
They work.
And I think one of the good things about university is, I think it's good for things like, you know, you're having to do a lot of presentations to groups, you're having to put yourself into situations of, say, moving away from home. There's a lot of that goes on that brings, you know, that brings you out as a different person. So the experience of university changes a person. I remember I didn't go.
And I completely agree. That's why I said, you know, the people I met, I did put all that to one side when I was saying I was talking career-wise only. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't go back and not go to uni. I'd do it all again.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the best periods of my life. It was great.
That's right. Yeah. So,
but I worked hard.
Yeah. So how many people do we sort of do a degree, regardless of what degree they've actually done, and have ended up doing the job that they actually did their degree in? I'm sure there's a huge percentage that haven't. My brother is a good example. He did his degree in chemistry many, many years ago. He's carved out a very successful career for himself. Nothing to do with chemistry. but it was his level of education that got him into the job that he first went that he got, and it had nothing to do with chemistry at all. And I think that, and because of that, because of the achievement that he had, he was very academic, my brother, and it's got him to where he is now. So now when we're talking about the specifics of a photography degree, is it worth studying a photography degree? In one word, no. I don't think it is. But I'm not saying you're going to waste your time or don't do a degree. I'm not saying that. If you think I want to go to uni because I want to study photography, you're still going to benefit and gain a lot from that. Just from that whole university. Okay, so let's
whole university experience, absolutely. And like I just said, although I think if you're just completely looking at having a photography career in photography, the best way to do it, I'd still say, is the way you did it, learning on the job, apprenticeships, that kind of thing. However, I wouldn't change my time at uni, because you're right. I think I came out a more rounded person, living with people who I didn't know. You'll get chucked into these halls and it's very much about politics, and you learn in some respects man management and things like that, and we're all young, so we all make mistakes, and that's a good learning process. I'm just saying this about degrees, by the way. I mean, I actually started my degree later. I mean, because I did a foundation course after my A-levels, and I took a year out to earn some money to then go to uni. So I was 2 years behind in that respect. And I think a lot of people do that with the arts. I think photography courses are now offered GCSE level, which they weren't really when I was at school. Obviously, my first course was an A-level, and then did the foundation course. All that stuff definitely do. But then I think from there, maybe apprenticeship, and go into a photographer and saying, look, I want to learn what you do, because there's more to it than just taking photos, isn't there? I learned a lot when I was my time at Venture. I mean, primarily as a professional photographer, but also how the business works. How are we getting clients in? How, all the different skills of it, being on an exhibition stand in a shopping center, doing the telesales, all that kind of stuff I also learned before I then went and did my own business.
Yeah. I mean,
not on the job. I didn't learn that from my university degree.
Yeah. And times always change. So things have changed since you did your degree and you left. Times have changed when, I was, when I started in the industry, there was a period where there were a lot of jobs available in the photography industry. Yeah. And I remember, and there might be some people that listen to this that were aware of two photography agencies based in London. One was called Just Photographic Agency, and it was run by a lady called Justine, I think. Mm-hmm. And there was another one, and they were both based on Oxford Street in London, these two job photo agency. So I used to be in touch with them. They said, look, there's a job going here. Are you interested? There's a job going here. Are you interested? And I was flitting from one job to another. Intentionally, I was going from one job to another. It was really good grounding, because I wasn't really fully aware of really what was involved in the photography industry. I wanted to be a photojournalist at school. That's what I wanted to do, photojournalism, then developed into getting into photography. Parents always tried to put me off from going into photography. They didn't stop me at all, but they were sort of saying, as any conversation a lot of people have with their parents. But I was fortunate. There was a time where there were a lot of jobs. I remember there were a lot of cruise ship jobs going at the time as well, and I applied. And I can't actually remember whether I got a job on a cruise ship or not. I didn't. Either way, I wouldn't have taken it at the time because I had other jobs. I was just applying, just sending out things. And then I remember the British Journal of Photography, which still I think advertises jobs. There used to be pages and pages and pages of jobs. So I used to look at that, and I got jobs from on the back of going into looking at the British Journal of Photography. So I used to go into W.H. Smith's every Thursday when it used to come out, and I used to read the job section there, and then I'd buy the magazine if there was a job in there that I wanted to apply for, and so times are very different. So I was lucky because I learned I learned on the job, and my initial grounding was always in industrial commercial advertising photography. Then I met a wedding photographer. I had no intention of getting into wedding photography, and I ended up going out with him shooting weddings for 3 years. I was just training, and then he turned around to me 3 summers later and said, "Right, you need to go and buy your own camera equipment, your own Bronica, and your film bags, your own bag, because I'm going to give you your first wedding to do." So I had a grounding of 3 years in photography before going out to shoot a wedding on my own, which is unheard of now as well. So everything, there was a grounding, but the problem, I think the issue now that we have is that you leave university. So there's a situation, you leave university, but you don't quite know where you're going to go from university.
And there is a massive amount of debt as well.
There is. That's right.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm still paying off my student loan, and it's because know, when you're only eligible to pay it over a certain amount, and that's right. Yeah. And so, and I think that when you do leave university, is like, where is the helping hand to say, right, okay, you finish university, there's a job placement there for you. I don't know. I don't think, as far as I'm aware, that doesn't exist. I know somebody that studied Manchester, I think it was, in recent years. He did a media degree there. I mean, a media degree is probably also, quote unquote, a Mickey Mouse degree, which I say I hate that term. And
he's not doing anything even remotely connected to that. And I thought, being there, he would have perhaps had opportunities with the TV studios that they have in Manchester and everything. I thought, wow, that's a really good opportunity there. And I don't think it, and I don't think it was. So what happens after that? So let's just say, though, that your photography degree doesn't necessarily give you the best opportunities to get a career in photography, even though you've been to university. What is the best way to do it? And you and I both agree that it is sort of on the job training, because now more than ever before, there are so many different opportunities where you can learn photography, different specialisms in photography. You go to places like the societies, and you see the workshops that they have at their conventions, and they have lots of private workshops, all of that. The teaching that I do as well. I've extended the range of courses that I'm going to be doing as well, and those are all good grounding for people to get into the industry. But I don't. Because you can learn photography on the job, you can learn it on your own, you can learn it, a lot of it, through YouTube videos and everything. But studying photography as a full-time sort of study, I think, is a wrong thing to do. I think people should be studying something else, and I know what that something else is, and we'll come on to that in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I think there's a lot of degrees out there, not just photography, that you don't necessarily go into that profession afterwards. I think, politics is a politics degree. You don't necessarily become a politician because of having a politics degree. And I'd say law, in some respects, some aspects of the law degrees, you don't necessarily become a lawyer. You might work in the law, but you're not being a lawyer. So I think that's across the board. But I think you're right. Times have changed a lot, because being a photographer these days, I mean, you spoke about wanting to be a photojournalism, being being a photojournalist, sorry. I don't think newspapers actually employ photographers on their books anymore, do they? I think they just use freelancers. And
that's right. Yeah,
I could be wrong, but my interpretation is you might have one head photographer there or something, and the rest are all part-time, maybe 0 hour or whatever it is. So times have changed generally, and you're right. There's not many jobs. When I got my job at Venture, there wasn't a lot of photographers' jobs even back then, and that was 2005. I got that job. So, there's not, because now really, and when I finished my time at Venture, there was nowhere else for me to go unless I wanted to be like head manager, area manager, or something like that. And I that's not me. I don't want to do that. So, and there was possibly you could be part of maybe the creative team who teach all the photographers, but there's like 3 of them out of a company that at one point had 80 studios in the country. So, and those people already have those jobs already filled. So it really is. The impetus now is really to become self-employed in a photography
That's right. Yeah,
industry.
because
That's a massive change.
Yeah, and you're right there, because you've just sort of preempted what I was going to sort of say then, in that there's a lot of people that are listening to this and saying, I want to get into photography. You're saying don't do a degree. I get that. So the best thing to do is to learn on the job. But how do I find a job in photography? Where are all those jobs in photography? Where are the big employers of photography? There aren't any like that. Not really. They're all small independent companies, and a lot of photographers don't employ other photographers. They're simply independents.
Yeah. And starting wages, because generally you have to be trained up to do what that studio wants you to do. You are looking at minimum wage to start with.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. But so how do you get that experience? How do you learn on the job? How do you do that? Knocking on doors and whatever, and it's interesting now, because I used to get quite a few inquiries from people saying, I want to get into photography. Do you have any jobs going? Okay. I used to get a lot of those. I've never thought about this until now, and I'm actually talking about it. Do you know what? I very rarely get that. I might get one inquiry a year now, because what's happening is everyone is immediately setting up their own business.
Yeah.
They're immediately setting up their own photography business. And we know, and this is fact, we've said it before. We did a show on it recently where 80% of photography businesses fail in the first 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, was it 3 years or 5 years?
I think it was 3 years.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure it was 3 years. Okay. And I think that's staggering, in a way that it's that the numbers are staggering, but it's not a surprise. And
it's not the photography side necessarily. That's the bad thing with these businesses.
Well, you see, this is just it. They might be really good photographers, but this is the crux of it. If you want to become a photographer, then what you need to do is go and study business. Yeah. Okay, you need to know,
or you can learn on the job, as I say.
Learn on the job, okay. But also, alongside of that, what you need to be doing, I think, is, in my opinion, is you need to study business. You need to work out. You need to understand how business works. You need to understand, how you get clients, how to market yourself. Okay. Setting up an Instagram and a Facebook account isn't enough. It's not enough. It's not the answer. Okay. It's not the answer. Oh, I've got a website, that you design your own website through some cheap website thing. I've got a website. And then what do? You sit and wait for all of these inquiries to come in. And what happens? Nothing comes in. You don't get a single inquiry.
But the thing is, you don't necessarily have to have a business degree or anything like that. I mean, you can go that route, I guess. My issue with a lot of, and I find this a lot with business courses, that it's very generalized. Actually,
but Mark, I'm going to pick you up on that.
Yeah, fine. No, let me continue, and then pick me up. No problem. Yeah. But like I said, when I was at Venture, I made it a point to, learn how to do the telesales, learn how to go on the exhibition. I remember, people were needed on the exhibitions, and all the other photographers were like, put their head down. They didn't want to do it. And I was like, no, I'll do it. I mean, it was nice to get out the studio for a bit of a change, but also I thought, no, I need to learn how to do this. And learning the different aspects of the business that I thought I was then going to go into, because it wasn't so generalized then. It was specific to what I was going to do afterwards. And the same with wedding photography. If you had an employee, let's say, who's working for Abraxas, who's like PAYE, for example. I mean, I'm not sure if you do that or not, but it doesn't matter. But let's just say, for an example, I'd learn how to be a wedding photographer and watch what you do on the wedding shoots, but I would also be paying close attention to how you get those clients in, how you make because that is specifically for a wedding business. A wedding photography business. So that's why I'm not. That's why I'm more sort of on the point of learning on the job rather than necessarily a business degree or a photography degree or something like that. Because actually, you're learning something specific to the area of which you're going to do. And if it's a successful business, then you take on those things. Maybe do things slightly differently, perhaps, but the general basics of it you're going to do. Then it works. So carry on with it.
I think it's sort of in amongst what you in everything that you've just said. Then we are in agreement, but you do need to learn on the job, and everything that you've said is right. Is soak up all of that knowledge that you can, get involved in different things. And if you are lucky enough to be working for somebody on PAYE or something, then you need to find out how these businesses work, how they talk to their customers, whether it's wedding clients, whether it's commercial clients, how do they market themselves? What sort of money do they spend on marketing themselves? Now, and I think if you can get yourself into that situation, that's absolute perfection. That's great. And then alongside that, in your own time, study a business course, whether it's a part-time course, whether it's something that you're doing online or something, but understand the basics of running a business, marketing yourself. Understand the fact that you should have a budget every year set aside to market yourself. The work is not, if you set up your own business, I've said this time and time again, and you sit there and you wait for the work to come into you, but you don't tell anyone that you're out there, and you're not spending any money telling people that you're out there, the only person that knows about you and your business is you. No one's going to come to you. It's no good asking friends to recommend you. The professional world doesn't work like that.
No.
And in my opinion, the reason why these photography businesses fail is because these people don't have the basic understanding of how to run a business. They might know how to do their accounts and things like that, but you're talking about this is how I need to market myself. I need to have budgets. When I'm at a shoot, this is how I need to react with a client. When I'm talking to a client, I need to create more work with that client. I then need to, these are the things, this is how to talk to a client. This is how to deliver your job. This is how you write, this is how you write an email to a client. This is how you correspond with a client. This is how you keep a client. These are all the things. And you know what? All of that, doing that involves an investment. So every time you do a job, part of the money that you earn out of that job has to get put back into that business, into some sort of marketing or something. But people think, well, I've set up my website, it's not costing me anything. I've got an Instagram account that's free. I've got Facebook. I'm not going to do boosted ads. I'm not going to do.
I'm not a fan of boosted ads either. To be fair.
Well, no, Mark. The thing is, you say this, but again, my experience of Facebook was I don't know how to do Facebook ads. Okay. I don't. And what I mean by that is I can set up an ad and I can run it, but I don't know how to monitor it. I don't know how to do it successfully so it generates inquiries. So for our wedding side of the business, I've had somebody now for the last 3 years who puts my ads together for me. He posts those ads out. He monitors what's going on. I can see inquiries coming in from those ads all the time because they're carefully targeted and they're stopped at certain times and they're restarted at certain times. Now I'm paying for all of that. Okay, so in other words,
but it's learning how to do all of that, isn't it?
So I'm investing, exactly. But as a photographer, you can't learn everything. Now, my knowledge has taught me that I can't be a jack of all trades. Okay. But I know that I set aside money for my business to market myself. So I'm saying, right, here's some money to an expert who can do that for me, who in turn is going to bring work in for me. So, and these things have to be learned. You have to learn. And to be honest, and it's too much of a quick fix these days. Everyone says, oh, I've left university, I've set up my own website and I've got my own business. Yeah. You're going to fail. You're going to be one of those businesses. The chance, there's an 80% chance, right, that you're going to fail. Yeah, that's right. Because you have to have that grounding. And and I'm going to finish off here, but like the society of today, there is no patience. They don't want to wait. They want everything now. And they don't believe, I don't think they understand the importance of, I've got to do this for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years before I start earning any money from it.
Yeah, it is true. It's a hard industry to get into. But as I say, although I enjoyed my degree and I think I worked very hard for my degree, so I do not like this Mickey Mouse sort of thing because that just, it says that you work for nothing, and that's not true.
Yeah.
But it is expensive.
Yeah. On a positive note, it is expensive. But on a positive note, you can be a success if you want to become a photographer and you want to set up your own business and you want to do all of those things and you see a career yourself as a career as a photographer, as a videographer. You can do it. There's loads of opportunities out there. But you've just got to work at it. You've got to be patient and you've got to soak up as much knowledge as you can and don't rush into doing it. If it means that you've got to get another job doing something alongside all of that while you're learning, then do that. But there's no quick fix. But you can be a success if you go about things the right way and give it time as well.
Excellent stuff. Right. I think I need a drink.
Definitely.
So Cam, I'm not sure if you've been watching what's happening today, but apparently there's a possibility that we're all going to be in a police lineup.
Goodness.
Yeah, I know. So
Really? Really?
yeah, really.
Actually, I've got nothing to hide, Mark.
You got nothing to hide. Well, I don't have anything to hide either, but I'm not sure if I want to
I've
be in
got
a police lineup. But so basically, let's just to go into this. It's currently the 6th of October, and our government, the Tory party, have had their conference. And one of the policies that's come out with this is the possibility of our CCTV facial recognition technology being linked to passport photos that we've all submitted when we've sort of applied for a passport. Now, basically, they have all these images online. It's all in a database. So what they want to do, if a shoplifter goes into Sainsbury's or wherever it is, and they get caught on their facial recognition systems, our passport photos will automatically be run against that face. So it is basically a huge police lineup of everyone that has, I mean, it's millions of people who have obviously got their passport will be part of this lineup. Now, I haven't given my consent for this. I'm not sure if I'm happy about this, but what do you think, Cam?
I don't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because...
Do you not think it's a bit police statey?
Not really. It didn't surprise me that you've said that you're not happy with it.
Yeah.
Okay. From knowing you and and the conversations we've had on this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. But for me, no, I don't have a problem with it. I don't know, because I've got nothing to hide.
No, you don't have anything to hide, but do you not think I don't have anything to hide either? Okay. I mean, it's not about that. It's really about that the power that has been given. That I haven't signed up to this. When I went for my passport, I wanted my passport so I could go through customs. Do you know what I mean? So I could visit other countries. That's what this passport was for. Back in the 90s, I think it was the Labour Party. It was the late 90s. The Labour Party wanted to do ID cards, and it was scrapped because of the same thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, do you remember that? Yeah,
I do.
So I think those ID cards were going a bit further. I think it was more than a picture. I think there was other things involved. I can't remember, but this is on the thing to this. You know, it's too much power for someone to have. I think.
I guess let me put it another way for a moment. Okay, in sort of agreeing with you here, where it can be problem, because I've said I don't have a problem with it because I don't have anything to hide. But I've been into London and I have been caught out several times on the congestion zone.
Yeah.
Okay. Through. I even actually rang them on the day when I didn't know whether I was in the congestion zone or not, because it was really misleading. You could drive over crossroads and two of those roads may not be in the congestion zone.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, and I think that's really what happened. So I rang them and I said, look, would you be able to tell me if I'd been in the congestion zone, please? Because I want to pay. I don't want to pay unnecessarily, but also at the same time, I don't want to get a fine. I said, oh, no, we can't give you that information. I said, surely you must know whether I've been into the congestion zone today or not. You would surely be able to bring up my car and my car number plate straight away and tell me. And if it is, then I'll pay it. I said, no, we can't do that. So I said, okay, right. Well, in that case, and if I don't pay, I'm then going to get a fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, exactly. And then in the end, I might find out I didn't actually even go into the congestion zone in the first place, right? So I'm paying for nothing. So, and I also went into a bus lane, okay, inadvertently, didn't realise, okay.
I've been done for that.
Right, these things happen, okay? And this is where, when you're being watched and you are innocent and you make an innocent mistake, there's no room for innocent mistakes. Okay. And that frustrates me when you are a law abiding citizen and you try and do the best that you can. You went into the bus lane, you hadn't realized you were in the bus lane, you know, you went into the congestion zone, all of that, and you couldn't figure out whether you were in the congestion. All of those things are innocent mistakes. And I hear this happen time and time again to people that I know. They don't mean to do it. And so it puts you under pressure. It puts you on edge.
Yeah, I mean, I had an issue with the bus lane. Actually, it was the venue. I was doing this when I was doing the Comic-Con photography. There's at this Comic-Con, they said park outside the Comic-Con, unload your stuff, and then go and park. That's what we did.
Yeah,
everybody got done because it was a bus lane.
Yeah, and it's you know what it's like as photographers. We have a car, or a van full of stuff, or blooming trucks and lorries as we go out in sometimes now, and with some of the bigger events that we do. And a lot of time in London, you can't park anywhere, you can't unload, all of those things. It becomes unrealistic. And then you've got to go and try and park or something, all of those sort of things. It just makes it difficult when you're trying to do the right thing. So I guess from that point of view, if they're using our photos, as sort of, for the purpose of being able to identify everyone, I don't know. No, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it.
I just think it could be used for. So I get the idea of why this is. I mean, okay. So politics aside, I actually think having more police officers on the beat would actually solve the shoplifting issue more than this.
I mean, the whole shoplifting for those people that are in the US, because that's our second biggest listening audience for the pod. We have a huge problem, which I only found out about recently. Actually, people just going into shops, taking things, not paying for them, and then walking out with them, knowing that the police aren't going to do
anything about it. Yeah, absolutely. And some of it can get quite violent as well.
Yeah, and shop staff don't want to do anything about it because of fear of, what is it worth getting, abused or beaten up or knifed as it were these days? It's not worth it.
And it is the corner shops and all those, they're all independent businesses, it's not a victimless crime.
They're the ones that are hardest hit, really.
Yeah. But of course, the reason why I've had such a rise in shoplifting, by the way, is because of the cost of living crisis and people can't actually afford to eat. So it's a nasty mess. And I just, and this is a response to that. I think it's a very easy response. It's a it's a policy throwout. I don't really want to get into the political side of it. I'm going to go down that rabbit hole, and I don't want to. But I just think that they haven't asked my permission to do this. This is not why I submitted my photo to have it used in photo recognition. This could then, if they can use it for this, they could then use it for something else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can use it for, what else can they use it for? Will it be, we saw you getting out of your car on this bit here, we're going to fine you for this, or whatever it was, because we got your facial recognition from your passport photo. I don't like it. Where does it go?
I mean, the thing is, it says here, the Home Office said the government was committed to making sure the police have the tools and technology they need to solve and prevent crimes, bringing offenders to justice and keeping people safe. It said, technology such as facial recognition can help the police quickly and accurately identify those wanted for serious crimes, as well as missing or vulnerable people. And it also frees up police time and resources, meaning more officers can be out on the beat, engaging with communities and carrying out complex investigations. I don't think we're ever going to go back to seeing police.
There's a lot of spin in that.
Out on the streets and in with the communities. It's just not going to happen. That would, we're never going to go back to that time.
Which is a shame, because actually that's what would solve a lot of this stuff.
It would solve it would solve a lot of it. But our photos, are, the thing is I actually say, well, look, don't carry a phone around with you if you're really that much, because the police can track, you're being tracked on your phones wherever you go anyway.
But that's not your image. Do you know what I mean? It's about your image being used for something you haven't asked it to be used for. If, we're going into the realms of things like deep fakes and things like that. If someone did a deep fake of you, Cam, you saw yourself advertising something, how would you feel about it? You wouldn't like it, would you?
No, I don't.
Because your image has been used for something that it wasn't supposed, you haven't consented for. And that is what this is about.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that is. I'm not looking at it like this. I just think they are just straightforward ID photos. I never had a problem with the ID card. I suppose your driving license is your ID card. When they say, I want to see a form of I want to see a form of ID. And if you're not a driver, then you've probably got to show your passport or something,
or credit card,
or credit card. But it's got to have a photo on it. Sort of photo ID. You want to get into a club sometimes, and not that
that doesn't happen to me anymore.
Not that I've been into a club for many years, and I've got no
certainly not getting ID'd either
to go back into a club either. That's right. Yeah. So I was watching a program on Netflix. I can't remember what it was, but it was one of these true story documentaries, a crime thing, and somebody had committed a crime, and then he'd killed his wife, and he went out to go and get a pizza. Came back from getting a pizza.
Yeah.
And then rang the police to say that he's come home, his wife has been bound up, gagged, she's not breathing, blah, blah, all of that. you know, and so I think the crime was really easy to sort out, because what they did was they got his phone, and his phone, what it does, it tracks your movements, and it tracks your health stuff as well. So he had all of that. He was a pharmacist, okay, and he had the health apps, whatever. The health apps, right, at home, first of all, they could see that his heart rate and everything, while he was committing the crime, had really shot up. Okay, and that showed that he was in a very short in a small area, but taking lots of steps. Something frantic was happening to him while he was committing the crime, and it was all there on his phone. Right,
but that's,
so in other words,
on his device, though, isn't it?
No, but his device is not really his device, because we are all being tracked. You know,
yes, no, I get that. I get that, but it's that they are things that he has opted into, and eventually that's got him up. But he opted into those health apps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he opted into health apps, right? Okay, but what I'm saying is a phone can track you anyway, wherever you are. Yeah. Okay, so he bought the phone, probably not even aware. Well, he clearly wasn't aware the police were going to use all of that, right?
No, probably not.
So he
would have known. But he
no. So he opted in. So he opted in, but without being aware of what he was really opting in for.
Yeah, but he still opted in.
I now know.
I didn't opt in for my photo to be used in facial recognition. I didn't ever opt into that.
No, but the thing is no, yeah, but.
You see what I mean?
No, but people are opting into things. How many times do you have to read an agreement?
Oh yeah, I know all of that. I know all
don't even read into it. But you're opting to things that you've got no awareness.
My passport photo was not ever said to me would be used for facial recognition. It was purely for my passport.
You see, again, for me, you know, when they check your details, when you go through passport control and your picture comes up on their screen, it clearly does. That picture comes up on any passport office anywhere in the world.
Yeah, but so I've consented to that.
Yeah, you have, but
I've consented to that. That's why I submitted my passport photo, because I want to visit X, Y, Z. You know, you put your passport in that machine, and then it does that photo thing now with these newfangled ones, doesn't it? Well, I've consented to all of that. I'm absolutely fine with that.
Do you know, it's just reminding me, I read a news story. Some people are going to find this interesting. You know, when you go to McDonald's or KFC or Burger King and you go through the drive-through, have you noticed that whenever you go, you pull up to order through the drive-through, there's always a pause. Okay, they don't connect to you straight away, do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I don't know how true this is, but it does make sense. Okay, that they use that pause intentionally to take a photo of you. Okay. And that photo is for them to make sure that they're allocating the right order to the right person.
Yeah.
And there was a story somewhere saying that, are people aware that their photo is being taken? Now, I don't know how true this is. That's first of all. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
I read this and I read it very, very quickly. So I'm not accusing anyone that this is what they do.
So we don't know this is true.
No, but I've noticed that I drive up and I'm thinking, well, are they going to say something? Okay, obviously they're busy and they're doing something. They've always got the headset on, but apparently there is a pause so that they get a photo of you.
I would suggest they're actually taking a photograph of your license plate.
Yeah, but have you consented to that?
Well, no,
and I know you like your McDonald's.
No, but I've
driven into
my McDonald's to go to the drive-through. So there is obviously a system for them, and then I would expect that photo to then be destroyed after. What I wouldn't want is that license plate that McDonald's have taken to then be part of some speed camera thing down the road. Because yes, I drove into McDonald's and I accept that my photo can be taken in order to get my order right, but I wouldn't accept that same picture was then used for something else. That's the consent. That's the difference.
The power of photos, Mark. That's what really this
photos.
is. This is what this is all about, really, isn't it? I mean, if some people think, why are they talking about this on a photography bar? No, it is. It is to do with photography. It's to do with the image, and they're using our images
and how you use your image, and and it's about consent as well. And it is very important that we have that power to consent of what our image is being used for.
I mean, we're tracked and photographed and videoed wherever we go. Walk down any high street, and you're being filmed.
I know this, and
did you sign?
No, I didn't.
Did you sign the little piece of paper, Mark, that at the beginning of every high street that says, I'm approving that I'm going to be filmed. You
don't. No, not at all. And that's I agree. And I am uneasy about that. We are the most watched state in Europe, or even possibly the world. I don't know, but I think there is some sort. And that does make me uneasy too. But I guess the thing is, I know it's happening when I'm walking down the street, but let's do McDonald's in reverse. I wouldn't want to walk down the street, down the high street, then take my photo, facial recognition. I walk into McDonald's and I go, "Oh, hi, Mark Denson, how you doing?" Because I hadn't consented Mackie D's having my image. Did you see what I'm saying? It's where the image is being used. What's to say that in future facial recognition gets sponsored by, I don't know, Waitrose or something, right? And then they have access to these photos as well. And I know that's a long shot, and I know that's fantasy, and I get that, but it's essentially the same thing. And then I go into Waitrose and they know all about, Mark's in, right? He normally goes for sesame seed bagels. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure if I like that. However, if I have a Waitrose card and they track my shopping, that's fine because I've consented to that. Do you see?
No, I get it. I get it from all angles. I do understand it. But yeah, it is. That's the world that we live in, and as I said, it's the power of the image. So
it is.
And of course, when we're all walking around with Ray-Bans,
whoa.
Specs,
and I did bring that up in that story, didn't I? It is loads of people have my image, and what if then that gets linked to the passports?
Yeah,
we have to be careful. I mean, I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing. It's all going to happen. I'm just uncomfortable with it, and I think we always have to question these things because yes. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and I understand why the good intentions are we want to stop shoplifting. There are other ways to stop shoplifting, like helping people, but I understand it, but it's just then where it goes. If we let it slide, then it'll slide for something else. And I think that's dangerous.
Good stuff. Brilliant. Thank you, Mark.
With that bombshell.
Yes, that's right. Yes. And on that note, I'm going to go and order some, looking to order some of the new Ray-Ban specs, and I'm going to chuck all my camera equipment away. It's all going to go in the bin because it's worthless. That's what I'm going to be doing next week. All my camera gear is going to be gone, Mark.
Okay. Very interesting.
In the bin.
And also, when you go and do your drive-through in McDonald's, right, and they take that photograph of you, you'll be able to take a photograph of the person serving you.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah,
and I bet they won't like it.
And because they won't know, Mark.
They will because there's a light on the end of the camera.
all the camera equipment that I've got.
Well, I'll tell you what. Your lovely new RFL lens and your R6. Don't throw it. Just my way, please.
I'm throwing it, Mark, because it's not worth it. It's not worth anything to you, Mark.
It is.
It's worthless. It's worthless. Guys, thank you very much for listening. Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, and we've got video channels coming soon, and also our Patreon. Please write us a review. Keep on listening, guys. You're the ones that really keep this show going, and for Mark and I to keep you a bit of company for all the photographers that are working out there on their own day after day. It can be a lonely world sometimes, this photography. So
and if you want to comment on anything, please comment. If you think I'm going barking mad over this passport photograph thing, then just tell me. I'll argue with you, but
Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much for listening. We will see you next time.
Bye for now, guys.